Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming into Sunday service. And if you are watching this in the future and I have DM'd you or somebody on my team has DM'd you on Instagram, Facebook, or even emailed this to you, there's a reason why we sent this to you. There's a common question comes up in my DMs all the time. Pace, I need help. Pace, I need help. Pace, I need help. Pace, where do I go for help? Guys, I have trained nearly 8,000 amazing Subto students nationwide. There's not a single county in the country that does not have Subto students. There's not a state anywhere in the country. All 50 states. We have Canadian students. We have students in Israel. We have students in Italy. We have students in France, Mexico, Japan. We have students virtually doing deals in America, all over the globe. And so I'm going to make sure that you, whoever you are listening to or watching this in the future, get some help. Okay. You get some help in your local geographical area. So what I want you to do is if you're watching this on YouTube in the future, I want you to go down in the description below. What I did is I'm going to give you guys a link where you can go find 2 to maybe 5 students within 50 miles of you that will help you. They'll do deals with you. They'll give you access to certain things, not my contracts, not my paperwork. They're not going to ever do that. They know better than that, but they'll give you access to resources. Like last month, we spent about $100,000 on our students, giving them resources like buy-sell agreements, partnership agreements, operating agreements, all sorts of things that my attorney puts together. They'll help you guys structure your businesses, give you advice on your LLCs, whatever it may be, tell you where to go. When you have a lead, they'll work with you on that lead. If you need money, they'll help you find money. Just go and joint venture with them. They will help you. That is what my students are trained to do. Now, another thing, if you are not part of my monthly challenge, I have a monthly challenge. People are surprised. We don't charge anything for it. They're surprised even on the 3rd day of the 3-day challenge that they're like, you're literally not going to charge us for any of this stuff? No. Last month, we had 7,000 people register for it. About 11,000 people have gone through that challenge now, which is pretty cool. It's called the Elephant Challenge. So go to pacegives.com, pacegives.com. We have a monthly challenge we do every single month. So if you're watching this in July of 2025, just know that I'm still doing that challenge. You need to tune in. You get registered for it every single month, costs you no money, and you'll get tied in. You'll get the help that you need in your local geographical area. Tonight, the episode is all about how to work with Subto students. And I've got a very special Subto student with me tonight that I'm going to bring up here. We're going to have a conversation, but I want to also give you guys a heads up that this will be my, Jonathan Donnelly says, is this on Zoom? Jonathan, you're asking me that question. Is this on Zoom while you're on YouTube? No, this is, this is on YouTube, my brother. The challenge itself, yes, is on Zoom. So yes, maybe that's the question you're asking. So a couple other things I want to announce. If you guys are wondering where Sunday service is in the future, this is actually the last episode of Sunday service. The very, very last episode of Sunday service. Merry Christmas, 2022, signing off. We are done with Sunday service. A couple of reasons why. Number one, we're going to rebrand and rechange the name. I have another podcast. A lot of you guys may know about that other podcast. I do it sporadically when I have the time, which sometimes just goes 3, 4, 5 months where I don't do it. But I have a podcast called Get Creative, and we are actually going to rebrand this exact time slot away from Sunday service. And there's a couple of reasons for that. If you guys go to YouTube and you type in Pace Morby Get Creative, you will see a whole entire playlist called Get Creative. It's a Get Creative podcast. And what I do is I highlight other people in this podcast, other people that are doing deals. Okay. So we are going to rebrand Sunday service and kind of merge these 2 podcasts together. Now it's going to be a different format. Okay. It's still going to be an hour and a half. We're still going to have topic specific stuff. Creative finance is going to be the main focal point, obviously. But in the very beginning of the podcast, what I want to do is I want to highlight 2 other groups of people every single week. I want to have 15 minutes for one person, 15 minutes for the next person. What I want to do is I want to highlight other people doing deals out there. Whatever that deal may be. You bought an RV with creative finance. You bought a set of cameras with creative finance. You bought a golf cart with creative finance. You bought a business with creative finance. It doesn't matter to me. I want people coming in. We're going to highlight other people doing deals and really utilize this platform to highlight special human beings that are putting the work in and against all odds, changing their mindset, having the belief system, and becoming resourceful to go out and do deals. So in the future, the channel, this podcast will no longer be called Sunday Service. It will be called Get Creative. Now, one of the biggest reasons why I'm changing is because Sunday Service, although it is amazing, I love it, and it has meant the world to me for the last almost 4, coming up on 4 years. I'm changing the name of it because people have no idea what Sunday Service is about, right? Sunday Service sounds like a religious podcast, which it's not. It's just paying homage to Kanye West and the fact that we are on Sunday giving service to you guys. People think it's religious. And I get a lot of people that DM me on a monthly basis saying, dude, like, you don't need to be talking about your religious podcast on your Instagram. I'm like, it's not a religious podcast. It's a creative finance podcast. So we are going to change the name so that our reach gets a little bit bigger. When people are looking for creative finance podcasts, this one doesn't pop up, and it's the #1 creative finance podcast, which is funny. So few announcements, just so you know, on January 1st of next week, which will be Sunday, this next Sunday, a week from today, it will be the first episode of Get Creative. And we will have 2 people talking about deals they recently did, breaking down those deals, how you can get in touch with them, how you can work with them, etc., what kind of resources they can bring to the table, and how you can JV with them. But again, tonight, I want to highlight something to you. If you are receiving this in your DMs, right here I am 6 minutes into this. If you are receiving this in your DMs, go down in the description below on YouTube, and there will be a link, and it'll say Find Pace's Students. There will be a link. It'll send you to a place to give your name, your phone number, and your email, and I will email you a list. I will email you a list of students across the country. It'll be probably we have about 8,000 students, but I'll send you a list of about 100. Okay. They will be students that are mastermind students of mine, which means they are not only Subto students, but they have also trained with me in person. They're part of my ongoing mastermind, and they can give you additional help. And they've shown consistency. They've shown that they can stay in the business, and they have staying power. And those will be great resources for you. We are also going to be going to a referral model in Subto at some point in 2023, maybe fully by 2024, where the only way to get into the Subto community is through a referral of another student. And so if you are receiving this and you're asking me, how do I become a student, like so many people do in the DMs? Well, go to the list, reach out to another student. You'll need to get referred to the Subto community rather than just going directly through me or through the company. We really find that we want to continually bolster up the community, make it stronger and stronger. And the best way to do that is through referrals of other students. We find that the best students, the ones that have the staying power, the right mindset that we're looking for, at least the people that want to be on the same path, are people that were referred to the program. So if I haven't done enough for you already in the first 7 minutes of this podcast, I'm going to open it up, and we're going to bring in Abraham Gray. Abraham Gray, welcome to Sunday Service. How you doing, brother?
What's up? What's up? Good to be here. Man, I can't believe it's the last one, but it's going to be better, it sounds like, going forward.
I think so. I think it'll be better. It'll force me. I'm still going to do an hour and a half, just like we always do. It'll be same time, same day of the week. Even, here we are, Christmas in 2022, doing the show. We will be doing it every single Sunday. The only difference is that we're really going to highlight other people, and then we're going to start talking about other things that I'm doing creatively, and branching out just a little bit. And we've got, like, for example, this week, I bought a golf cart with creative finance. I'm selling my truck, my F-150. I'm selling it on creative finance. And I've also got a business I'm buying on Tuesday with $0 down, which will be pretty cool. And we'll document that whole thing, bring the seller on board, bring him on the podcast, and just talk about all things creative finance. I also have a lot of business owners that I know that have acquired their businesses with creative finance, or have sold their businesses on creative finance. In fact, the more I research that whole world with like Carl Allen and, Cody Sanchez, you start realizing that the majority of the big companies like DuPont and Disney and a lot of these companies, you just would never have realized that these companies were all required, they all would have fallen apart at some point in their first 5 years if somebody didn't come in and utilize creative finance to either bolster the company or even acquire another company that brought in technology that they needed, et cetera. And these things are happening all the time. And so we'll start bringing in some business owners and start talking about creative finance as well. Maybe even have a Carl Allen, Cody Sanchez come on the show a little bit and just give breath to more things creative finance than just real estate. So Abraham Gray.
Yes, yes.
One of the reasons why I brought you on here tonight is because I want to highlight you. You've done hundreds of deals with Subto students. You yourself are a Subto community member. You are one of the big leaders in our community. So right out of the gate, right here we are. How far are we into the podcast? We are 12 minutes into the podcast. People are going to want to know how the hell to get a hold of you. They don't want me to wait until the end of the show and say, how do we get a hold of Abraham Gray? So before I tell people how to get a hold of you, what can you do for somebody that's DMing me? Let's say somebody DMs me and says, Pace, I need help. I need somebody to look at a deal. Or Pace, I need a lender. Hey, Pace, I need to find a buyer. What can you provide and help to somebody that's listening to this in the future? What are you looking to help with? Because I know you can help with a lot, but I want to make sure that I don't overwhelm you with things you don't specifically want to help with, because obviously you want to help, but at the same time, you want to feed your own family.
Yeah. So there's so many different things that I've done. So I have literally done deals with a few hundred Subto students.
Guys, don't let him skate over that so quickly. Listen to what he just said. I have done deals with a few hundred Subto students. I mean, he did a deal with Chad Glover, one of my favorite Subto students of all time, an OG. He's been with me over 2.5 years. You did a deal where I think Chad sold you like 9 houses in one fell swoop or something like that.
9 houses. It was $3.5 million. It was all creative. It was all a creative deal.
9 houses, $3.5 million creative finance deal. You bought nine houses from one student.
Yeah. I bought tens of millions of dollars worth of the guy you're just talking about, Eddie Charger. I bought many deals from Eddie Charger. Actually, me and Eddie are now partners on. We have a real estate company together where we do monthly events where we just have people come and we just have speakers and we teach people all about real estate. And but Eddie sold me tons of deals. He sold me lots of cash deals. He sold me he sold me an apartment building on Creative Deal in Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah.
What cities? Atlanta?
Forest Park. Yeah, it's right by the airport.
Why didn't he sell that to me, dude?
You got to ask him, but I'm not sure you were buying apartments at the time. Well, you might have been. This was like, I think in January or February of this year, the apartment.
Yeah, I was buying. I'll tell you my honest, I've got this thing where like when we first started Subto, you'll remember me talking about this, Abraham. You've been with, you've been a friend of mine and in the community for a long time. I said, as I grow, so will the Subto community. And I had a goal in 2021 to acquire 500 doors, and I only acquired 185 doors. 85 of those were multifamily, 100 of those were single family. And why did I fail at buying 500 doors? Well, first off, buying 500 doors is a freaking crap ton of doors, right? But also, I didn't have my ducks in a row. I wasn't streamlined. I didn't have my business put together. I didn't have the right executive team. I didn't have the processes and systems that allowed my team to handle and onboard that many properties. And every time I threw a 30 unit or a 40 unit, there was a 35 unit I bought in 2021 and my team about choked on it. It took 6 months to onboard it. Now I just bought a 254 unit and it took them 2 weeks to onboard it, meaning getting it up and going, changing out the managers, all that kind of stuff. So for me, I just wasn't quite ready. So going into the future, of course, I've been talking a lot more about multifamily because now my team can handle a lot more of gobbling those types of deals up. But also, and I'm going to have Abraham come back multiple times. Abraham's not just a real estate investor. Abraham owns several businesses that he's acquired, both with cash and with creative finance. And Abraham is an operator at a very, very high level. And so those types of conversations of like how to hire the right team, how to automate things so that you can go travel the country and go be part of masterminds and go buy other deals and be part of partnerships and those types of things. I think I should definitely have you come back and talk about those types of things as well in general business, because I would say, you would probably agree, people go and do 2 or 3 deals, right? And then what happens is they go, okay, well, what's next? And you go, well, what's next is you got to hire people. So you can now have some automation. So you don't have to go back and just continually chase those 2 or 3 deals. But most people fail at hiring people. They're so deathly allergic or afraid of hiring somebody else, putting somebody on payroll, that what ends up happening is they burn out on real estate because they never passed the ball off to somebody else. And they get tired of holding that ball and chasing up and down the field the whole time, like they're a one-man team. So I think showing people that in business and how to do that in your real estate business, how to do that in your other businesses would be a lot of fun. Have you come on as an additional guest talking about those types of things. So anyway, I cut you off.
No, you didn't. No, you
didn't. What types of things can you do for people that are listening in the DMs?
All kinds of stuff. But going back to what you just said, just to touch on it for 1 second. People always ask me, and I'm sure they ask you the same thing, probably more than they ask me. They're like, how in the world do you have, do you buy 300 homes, a month? I mean, a year, 300 homes a year. How do you have dozens and dozens of businesses? How do you do all this stuff? I can't do it. The only reason why I'm able to do it is because I have such good people that are with me. I have, really good partners, but more importantly than that, I have like the best managers, the best team, the executive assistants, everything else. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do anything. So what you were saying before, basically you're like, well, people do 2-3 deals and then they're like done. Well, what happens is everybody knows, and and I know, that everyone could do deals better than anybody else. If it's your deal and you're working in your company, you're always going to do better than anybody else because you care about it, it's yours. But you can only do so much by yourself. So maybe you can do 3 deals, like you said, and make $50,000 a deal. Maybe you can make $150,000 that year. But wouldn't it be better to do 20 or 30 deals and maybe not do as good as $50,000 per deal, but maybe make 20 or 30,000 per deal, but do 10 times as many? You're just making so much more money. And that's what you've done with all your businesses. That's what I do. That's the only way to grow. That's the only
to be honest, though, Abraham, I'm just going to have a conversation like I'm talking to my friend. Mm-hmm. I had a major mindset issue with that. And I'll tell you, I see Homevestors and you're behind you on your right-hand side.
Oh, yeah. One of the franchises that I bought.
When I was a Homevestor franchisee, okay, so if you guys don't see this, look on Abraham's screen, his right hand, your left-hand side. The We Buy Ugly Houses people, right? Homevestors. Mm-hmm. And I used to be a Homevestors franchisee. And it was interesting. Once I started breaking away from what everybody was telling me, actually, here's a better thing. Now that I'm talking out, I'm just talking out loud. I have no rhyme or reason for me to say this because that's just on my chest. When I stopped listening to people that were less successful than I hoped to be, and I started listening to people that were as successful as I wanted and hoped to be, things started changing for me. And here's what I mean by that. When I was at Homevestors, they train you that you have to spend half of your time spending money on leads and the other half of your time generating what they call dig leads, D-I-G, dig, like dig them up yourself, dig leads, right? And it was really interesting when I was going through training with Homevestors, and I would go to their every 6 months, there's a convention in Homevestors, right? And you'd go to their classes at their convention, and everything they taught me was, well, you're not making as much money as you want to make because you're not physically going on the appointments. You're trying to do everything virtually, and you're trying to hire people to do something that you should just be doing yourself. And I'm listening to these people that at the time were making more money than me. Okay. So there's a gentleman named Jason. He was making $900,000 a year take home. And to me at the time, $900,000 as a solopreneur with no employees and nothing else, it seemed really appealing. So I listened to him, and I created a really, really bad habit. And my bad habit was taking pride in going out and signing every contract myself and building the relationship with every homeowner myself and going out there and having my physical hands on every contract. And even when I could close a seller over the phone, I wouldn't do it. And I was listening to Homevestors and what they were teaching me because I thought that that was the right thing. And it wasn't until I started breaking away and having meetings outside of Homevestors that, one, Homevestors told me I was the evil devil because I shouldn't be listening to anybody besides them. But two, I started realizing that the real money came in through automations and not going to the physical appointments. Now, it's good to go to the physical appointments in real estate, but the real most amazing thing is breaking away from becoming a hobby owner, basically having a hobby where you go to the office every single day and you're in the mucky muck and you're doing all the things and you're answering the phone and you're writing the contracts and doing all that stuff, to becoming a business owner where things are happening that you're not involved in. And instead of being, this is where I had to make the mind shift. And this was probably 24 months ago. It wasn't even that long ago. It went from, I'm proud that I'm really good in the living room at a seller's house, to I'm proud that I will never go into another living room of a homeowner.
Yeah.
That was a massive mind shift. Did you have to go through that same thing in your real estate journey as well?
Yeah, luckily though, so I'm 47. I got through that in my early 20s, but the same thing, because no one could do it as good as you, So you have to just understand.
And will they ever? That's a good question.
Probably not, but they'll do good enough. They'll do good enough to where with all this help, you'll still do way better. And you don't have to do as much work. You only have to do the stuff that you like to do, right? I heard you on a podcast, and I'm the same exact way. Like every single night I go to bed, I can't wait to get up because my next day, everything on my schedule is like fun stuff I want to do. Like all that stuff that I don't want to do, like some of that stuff that you used to do because you're better at it than somebody you can hire. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I could do it. I'm probably better, but now I only do the stuff that I really, really want to do. That excites me.
Did you grow up the same way I grew up, where like your parents taught you that you need to do things yourself and stop outsourcing, and like nobody's ever going to do it as well as you?
No, I actually grew up. My parents split, divorced. I grew up in foster home. The foster home. I went to boarding school, foster home. I actually didn't grow up with my parents, but I got to a point where I just saw that if you could start making money, you could basically have your freedom. And people make money because they want to be free, they want to be happy, and that's what gives you that possibility to do that.
Yeah, the automation has been the biggest game changer for me. It's interesting. Like I go from in 2021 buying 180 doors, even though my goal was 500, and then pressing reset in January of last year and saying my goal in 2022 is now the same goal that I just failed at in 2021. And then this year we ended up acquiring, I don't know what we'll end the year with. There's a couple of deals we have that we're still waiting for things to finalize, like in terms of closing. We might close a couple into the next year, but it looks like we'll close on 1,600 doors when my goal was 500.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny, Abraham, is here's what's funny. The difference was I was personally on the phone less, closing deals. I hired operations managers that made more money than I thought I would ever pay a human being. And all of a sudden I found myself lost. Like, did you ever see the Pablo Escobar meme where he's like sitting on a bench, like all bored out of his mind?
I don't know.
Okay, so Pablo like had this thing where like he hired such great captains and such great amazing people around him that he found himself one day just going, I don't have anything to do. Like, what am I going to go do? And instead of going and creating new businesses, he started causing havoc, and he started getting involved in his business and tearing it apart type of thing. So I found myself at the beginning of this year hiring 3 unbelievable people that really took things off my plate. In fact, I went to them and I said, your first job is to take things off my plate. You should notice things that I have on a daily basis and look at my calendar and go, hey, should not be having that meeting. I should be having that meeting. Don't wait for me to tell you. Your job every morning, first thing you should be doing, pray to your God, whoever that is, kiss your kids, leave your house. And when you get to work, the first thing you should do is go, what can I take off Pace's plate today? And that was literally, I told 3 different people that in the beginning of this year. That was the difference between me buying 180 units and 1,600 units.
I had those same exact people. Literally, I've had those same exact people that I have to hire to do the same thing. Like, you have to. That's the only way to get to.
It's scary though, right? Like hiring people to get your business automated and essentially get yourself out of the business. Here's what I think is the problem. I think the problem is people don't know what they should be doing with that extra time. And because they can't see the path, they don't create the extra time by offloading it. They stay married to the game because they're like, well, what if I take these 4 hours out of my day and I have somebody else doing this stuff? Well, then what else am I going to do with my day? And they don't have the vision that a guy like you or a guy like me has. And even me, I'm still working on my vision of how do I get myself out of every little thing, because that wall behind you, those are all businesses that you either own or you have owned in the past, correct?
Yeah. There's dozens and dozens all over the whole. It's a big office, but yeah. And the same thing with me, the pace. Like I am always figuring out my vision and changing it as well. Like I don't think anyone ever has the final vision. Like it keeps changing. You know, I don't know anyone that's had like a final vision that was it, right? I mean, right? Everyone has stuff that changes.
Yeah. Tariva, for Subto students, in February, yes, we are having a meetup in February for my birthday. So I'd love to see you out here, Tariva. It would be absolutely amazing. For any students out here in Phoenix, yo, there we go. Eddie Charger, my man. Okay, so here's something that's kind of cool. Okay. I've got 4 businesses right now that one of them is one of my real estate businesses, and one of them is a new business I'm acquiring on Tuesday. A third one is a business that somebody came to me and said, will you be my partner and show me how to scale? And so what we're doing on this Tuesday, okay, for any of you guys, everybody on here should do me a favor. Go to Instagram and DM me the word 23, just literally the number 23. I'm going to be doing 2 things on Tuesday. One, I'm going to show you guys my goals for 2023. I'm going to show you how I go through the process of setting goals. And Nathan Harris says, I've been drinking the Grant Cardone Kool-Aid. I don't know why people don't like Grant Cardone. Like that's a whole other conversation. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm curious what Abraham thinks about Grant Cardone, but go and DM me the word 23 right now, or just know that on Tuesday on YouTube Live, this is just a free thing that I'm doing for everybody. My partner, Cody, is going to be working on this really fun project I challenged him to do. Okay. Because I had one of our students, do you know Maj out of Colorado, Abraham?
I love Maj. I just went so he came to Atlanta, literally him and Anna, like a month ago. And we went to my gyms. He does jiu-jitsu. He's a blue belt. I'm a brown belt. We went to my gym. We rolled, we grappled. I submitted him a couple times, and actually,
you submitted him?
Yeah. So,
bro, he's shredded.
He's shredded, but jiu-jitsu is about technique. But we both came to the Golden Ticket actually a few weeks ago. So we actually went to a gym in Phoenix, Arizona, and trained the following day after the Golden Ticket. Before,
dude, that's so dope.
Yeah, I love Maj. Like
that's so dope. So I was on a Q&A the other night for Subto students, just a private Q&A. And Maj and I were talking about his cleaning business. And he's talking about how he wants to automate and build that cleaning business to a point where he doesn't have to be involved in it. And I said, well, you need to hire people to do that, right? Like no man can serve 2 masters is the old saying, right? That's in the Bible. No man can serve 2 masters. Doesn't mean you can't own 2 businesses. It just means you can't have 2 businesses own you. Okay. You can't have 2 masters. Okay. This is where Elon Musk does a really good job. He'll go in and have one business own him for a while, right? Like Twitter right now owns him. He's over there sleeping on the floor. He's doing the thing, but the other businesses have been automated. So it's okay for him to be owned by one business at a time. So Maj is sitting here trying to have 2 businesses own him, his real estate business and his cleaning business. So what we're going to be doing on Tuesday is Cody Barton, my operator, my integrator. He's going to show you guys the back end of our businesses and how we automate and what we're going to do. Check this out. I've got a business I'm acquiring on Tuesday, $0 down. It's a really cool little business making money here in Arizona. And I'm going to keep the owner of that business on as a partner. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the systems and processes that Cody and I follow in our real estate business, in our virtual assistant business, in our software business, etc. And we are going to show you literally for 2 hours a day, 30 days straight how to take a business. Okay. Cody's going to do this for you guys. He's going to say, all right, starting on I think January 2nd, but he only wants 100 people in there. So that's the challenge. So you guys got to get in there and like register for Cody's thing. You have to be in there. He's taking 100. Why? Because what happens is when you're doing these Zooms, all these questions come up and Cody can't handle things the same way I can. Like in the Elephant Challenge, I can handle 3,000 people being in a live simultaneously. Cody can handle maybe 100. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys how to take a business that has a solopreneur, and we're going to show you how to implement a couple of systems and processes to that business that in 30 days, that business owner is 40% less involved in that company in less than 30 days, maybe even more like 50, 60%. Okay. And we're going to do that with a new real estate business that we have. We just started a new real estate business starting specifically focusing on one strategy. We'll tell you guys about that on Tuesday. We're going to take the new business that I'm acquiring on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. I should work out the details and finalize that. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. And then we have two other businesses, one that we're partners in, and then one that we are not partners in, but we're taking somebody's insurance business, unrelated, okay? Unrelated to anything we own, somebody's insurance business, and showing how we can double or triple their business within 30 days by adding systems and processes to it. So we really want to show people how to be business owners, not just how to get deals and not just how to, I want to go have 5 rentals so I can, pay my grocery bill and my car payment and my cell phone payment for the rest of my life with no money out of my pocket. And my cash flow pays for those things. We want you guys to learn how to be business owners, not, business operators. We want you guys to own the business, not have the business own you. And I think a lot of people in this game end up having the business own them. Now, Abraham, you've purchased a lot of businesses. Is that right?
100. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you purchase these businesses, I'm going to make an assumption that the business owners you're buying these from are probably owned by their business, not the other way around. Is that correct?
So a lot of them. So, there's 4 main things I look for when I buy a business. One thing is to make sure that the owner isn't the business. If the owner is the business, it makes the business not worth a whole lot.
That would be, maybe I'm an orthodontist and the name of the company is John Smith Orthodontics.
And every customer wants to deal with you. So
yeah.
What happens to the business?
It implodes. I had a buddy. Why I bring that up is because I had a buddy I was learning apartment syndication from about 6 years ago, and he sold his orthodontist practice, and what they did is they did a seller finance agreement with him where he had to stay on board for 5 years so he could introduce the clientele to the people that were buying the business. And he had to stay involved for 5 years. And during that 5 years, he replaced his income with apartment syndication money, which is cool. But at the end of the 5 years, he walks away, the whole company it basically implodes. Even though he had passed on the customers and done all the things, they just didn't do it right. Wow. And the company fell apart.
Well, over 5 years, you should be able to transition really easy to other people. But yeah, they obviously didn't do it right. But no.
So that's number one. You can't have the owner be owned by the business or have it like.
The most important thing is I want to buy profitable businesses. They got to be profitable, and when I say profitable, they got to be making at least 6 figures for me to be interested. There's a few exceptions where I'll buy businesses that don't do that, but for the most part, if you're starting off, you should only buy businesses that are making at least 6 figures. Because if not, you're pretty much going to be buying a job, maybe a high-paying job, but you want to buy something that you could have somebody in place that can run it, so you don't have to be involved. But that's probably the most important thing is that it's profitable. Make sure that there's somebody that can run the business. Like I don't want to buy a business and then the owner leaves and there's no one to run it. I want to make sure there's a manager that runs it or someone that I could have take over the business. But those are the most important things. But
so when you buy a business, for example, like here's what I'm doing this week. Okay. I've got this business that I'm acquiring, and I don't have the operator in mind on this specific business, right? Because I'm the visionary. I don't want to ever operate. I don't want to ever hire an employee. I don't want to manage employees. I just know that that's not my strong suit. I end up becoming friends with my employees. So I need a buffer. I need an operator, an integrator that does all that stuff for me. So when you go acquire a business, Abraham, your personality is going to always be different than mine, right? And you got to kind of know yourself when you're going into these transactions. Are you similar to me where you go, I will only acquire a business if I already have somebody to do the integration work for me?
Yeah.
Or are you okay doing some of the integration for a while until you find that partner?
No, I can't do it. I just like, we talked about earlier, I love waking up the next day because I like doing all the stuff that I want to do. It's all visionary stuff. If I had to do any integrator stuff, I wouldn't want to wake up. So yeah, no, I won't buy a business unless I already have somebody in place that's going to run it. If not, that's a good deal killer for me.
Love it. Love it. So, hey guys, I put a link in the side chat. We are going to be doing this little challenge on, it's not going to be a challenge. Okay. It's going to be a full business masterclass of how we manage and systematize our business. It'll be 2 hours every single day. We're going to take one business at a time. I challenged Cody. I said, Cody, people don't see you enough and they don't see your superpower enough. In fact, you've been washed out because I'm so loud and I'm, very out there. You need to stand out and show people your superpower. So starting Tuesday, we're going to take 100 people on that list. I just gave you guys the YouTube video. We're going to announce it and give you guys a link for you guys to sign up on the 100-person waiting list. Cody will go probably a good 6 months doing this, which means he'll choose 6 different businesses over a month time frame. The first business will be a business I own that I just acquired. Second business will be another one that him and I own together. Third business will be a business him and I don't own at all. And then what he wants to do for the other 3 businesses is he wants to take on people and show people how to automate and systematize their business. So it's not a mentorship. It's not none of that kind of stuff. He literally is just like, how do I change the game? How do I step into this space and actually brand myself? And I go, dude, show people what you're freaking phenomenal at. Become the integrator, the operator. So for you, right out of the gate,
Maj just came on, so I see Maj.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to take Maj's cleaning business and show him how to operate and manage or like automate that whole thing. So guys, there's a YouTube link in the side chat. I've got I can't believe 500 people showed up on Christmas night. That's amazing. Thank you guys. Christmas night, 500 people showed up for this. I told Abraham that maybe 200 people would show up on Christmas night. So good to see you guys. Love you guys. Really appreciate you guys.
Let's talk a little bit about the Subto community and like different deals that we all do together and stuff like that.
Let's do it. So guys, before we move into the next 30 minutes of the show, click on the YouTube link I just gave you guys and make sure you guys just ping the thing to alert you when we go live on that. I want to make sure you guys all get in on that. I would say that 90% of you guys will, once you get past your first deal, 90% of you guys will struggle to get your 4th, 5th, and 6th deal because of fatigue and because you're not taking some of your money and reinvesting it into actually building a business. And so we want to show you guys how that is actually done. So Abraham Gray, back to the main question at hand. You've done hundreds of deals with probably dozens and dozens of students. A lot of students you've done multiple deals with. Obviously, Chad Glover, you did 9 deals in one deal, right? You did 9 houses in one deal. With Eddie Charger, you did a multifamily deal with him and multiple other.
I see Munif on here. I've done lots of deals with Munif. We actually have some deals we own together. Kevin Cho's on here. I've done some deals with him. We actually just bought a deal in Texas that we close on Tuesday that we're going to be 50-50 partners on.
I heard about that. So
every person in here, I see deals every deal. I mean, Mama deal. I mean, everybody. I've either bought deals from them. I've either loaned them money for different, just everyone went after another. So,
hey, Maj, if you show up on Tuesday, he says, please help me with my cleaning business. I will specifically tell Cody to help you automate your business and go through that like himself. And you will be blown away by what will change in your life. So
Dylan just posted, Dylan Goldman. He's like, we're in escrow now. I'm buying a creative deal off Dylan in Atlanta and Conyers, Georgia that we close on within the next week. So every single person here, I just deal with you. I didn't deal with you. So like literally I've done deals with hundreds of people and stuff too. Let's talk about there's Kevin. So let's talk about the different types of deals I've done. So I've done all different types of deals. Like no deals are exactly the same, right? So that's what's super cool about Subto. Like literally every person in Subto you can do deals with, and different types of deals, right? There's certain deals I don't do that other people do, and some people need to borrow money, some people loan money, some people will partner with you. So I did a deal with Eric Wong. He's not on here, I don't think, but he's in California, and he called me up. He's like, I've got a Morby method deal I want to do. it's a good deal. Can you look at it? I just don't have the money to put up. So, at first, I was like, well, I could give you a transactional loan, no problem. And, it comes back the next day. He's like, no, I want to do it with you. Like, I don't want to pay a transactional loan fee. You own 50% of the house. You put up the money. You're going to get back the next day, but I just want to be partners with you. So me and Eric, we're 50-50 partners on a $750,000 home we bought maybe a year, like in the beginning of this year, that he just needed someone to put the money up front for 24 hours. And then, basically we have a deal where the house is actually in Decatur in Atlanta. It's like the nicest part of Decatur, right next to Emory University. So like it's a very, very expensive area. And the deal is he manages it and I do all the repairs. So anytime there's something wrong, my guys go there and they fix it. And anytime he collects the money, he pays the mortgage, and he got the mortgage in his name. So I don't do mortgage method deals where I put the mortgage in my name, but I'll definitely do them where I put up the money and I could help with repairs, especially if it's in Atlanta. But this worked out really good for him. We've been doing really well with it. We're cash flowing really, really well. Just as a regular rental, but it's a whole bunch of people that go to Emory that rent it. It's like 5 different guys that room together, and they all have rich dads. But so I'll do those type of deals. So another transactional funding, right? If anybody needs to double close, I've done, I don't know, probably 100 transactional loans for people in Subto for any amount of money. Whether it's 50,000, 100,000, I've done $1.5 million, $2 million transactional loans to people. So it doesn't matter. So anytime you do double closing, I'm always charging less than anybody else as well, especially for people in Subto. I do some like fix and flip loans for people that are in Atlanta for Atlanta properties. However, with the market going the way it's going right now, I'm being a little bit more careful on them because I'd only get a really small LTV just because every month the properties are going down. So I'm being a little careful, but once it levels down, but I have like $10 million out right now just on fix and flips loans to people in Atlanta. And half of it's to people in Subto. Atlanta and Kurt Chang, right? The ones that got the board game for you.
Yeah.
They did a deal where it was in Georgia. They needed they bought a Subto deal, and they needed the down payment. It was, I don't remember how much it was, 30,000, 25, whatever it was. It was in that range. And they're like, you loan me the money for this? And I usually don't loan in second position for those type of loans, but I know them in the community. They're great people. Like anyone that I have good rapport with, anyone that I talk to a lot, that I'm friends with, they're friendly with me. I see they help people. I help people. We talk. I'll do stuff that I wouldn't do normally. So I lent them the money for their down payment, and then over whatever it was, 4, 5, 6 months, they paid me back, and now we're even, and it worked out great for everyone. They paid me a fair interest, and now they have that house, totally, the second loan's paid off. But so I do some of those sometimes. Obviously, what I'm known for the most in Subto, I don't even know how this happened initially, but like one person was like, "Oh man, I really need proof of funds." And I gave someone a proof of funds. This is like almost 2 years. I've been in Subto since 2020, since you started. I became really good friends with some people back then. And someone asked for a proof of fund. I send them a proof of fund, and I guess a bunch of people saw it. And then a few people were like, "Oh, can you send me one? Can you send me one?" I was like, "Oh, okay." So I started sending them, and then like I literally got emails from people or messages saying, "Oh my God, you don't understand. I bought this house and I made $30,000 on it, and the only reason I was able to buy it was because you sent me that proof of funds." And because at one point I was like, I'm not even going to do these anymore because you had yours, but I guess people are like, well, I want my name on it, I want to see today's date on it, and stuff like that. And you can't do that. You'd be making.
I have no time. It's crazy. I have no. Yeah. I get the same thing. Mine is different, which I appreciate you stepping in and giving a different version of it. Mine's like a video thing where I just changed it because I got so many people that would DM me. Right. I would get these real estate agents and brokers and homeowners that would DM me on Instagram, and they'd say, "Hey, I just got this like credibility thing from one of your people. Are you real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sitting there replying back and saying, "Yes, I'm real. Yes, I'm real. Yes, I'm real." And probably the same as you, I get a good 5 to 15 people a month that come to me and go, "Dude, I bought this deal just because you gave me the proof of funds because I was stuck in the water. And I needed," so what I did is I was like, how do I make it so these wholesalers or agents or brokers or homeowners have a generic proof of funds with no date on it, so that in perpetuity, the students can use that link that's like, hi, my name is Pace. I was asked to send this to you because my partner told me blah, 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 blah. So I go on that. You've probably seen it, where I actually log into my bank account with my username, and I'm like, here's my $3 or $4 million. It doesn't have a date anywhere, which is magical. And so all of a sudden, those messages stopped coming to me. So I think I solved it. But here's the thing is, like, some people are very traditional. So you'll still get a broker that will go, okay, yeah, I saw Pace's video, but can I get a document? And dude, I don't have the time to do the document. So you step in and you do that stuff.
I want people to use yours as much as possible, like, honestly. But if it doesn't work, then I'll help them out, you know? So,
bro, how freaking amazing is it that and the thing is, like, not to take any shine away from you, but think about how much money you've made inside of this amazing little community we have.
Me? Oh, I feel like I ripped you off. Like, you totally got ripped off by me. Like, I paid like such a small amount. I've made millions in profit already.
Which is great, but you're a leader. So it's the same thing. It's like you get out what you put in, and this community is so amazing, and you've made amazing friends. You get a lot of other people. Like, there's people that their full-time job is being a leader, just like you inside of Subto, who are like, dude, I'm just going to provide value, and you guys are going to end up bringing deals to me. You could probably say that you've bought more deals from Subto students than I have.
I don't know about that. I'm probably second.
Maybe you and I should go through and count mine up and like take them out of my sheet and see how many deals I've done with the Subto students. I'm going to make a challenge to you. I'm going to see if I could do more deals next year than Abraham Gray can with Subto students.
Yeah. So when I say I've done hundreds of deals, I'm not saying I bought hundreds of property. I
know you're helping people on cash deals. You're helping
people
on
flips. Is transactional funding. A lot of it is. So I don't, if you count all of that, it's going to be hard to beat me. But if you're talking about buying houses, you're going to beat me for sure.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd be curious.
I buy a lot, but man, you have bought 3 deals that from people in Atlanta. One in Decatur that actually you and Eddie did a walkthrough of it. It came from Crystal, right? So Crystal's also in Subto, and she's been in Subto since 2020. I've actually bought a lot of properties from Crystal, and we're really good friends now. But she offered me this property, and it just didn't make sense for me because the only way to make money on it was probably to Airbnb it. So I saw you walk the house with Eddie. You did like a whole video on that house. I was like, oh shit, that's the house that Crystal had. And are you Airbnb that house?
The deal actually ended up falling through.
Oh, you didn't get it?
Yeah, there was so we had it under contract, and then what happened is we went through escrow and we found a second or maybe a third lien that popped up that was like insurmountable, and the deal fell apart. The
problem with that house for me was that it was the most expensive house in the neighborhood. Like, there was no houses that expensive in the neighborhood. So
yeah, it was definitely the nicest house. They had a couple of new builds across the street, and I already owned 2 houses in the same neighborhood. We literally left that house and went around the corner and did 2 other walkthroughs on Airbnbs of mine. Yeah. And so I knew how well that area was performing on Airbnb. So I was planning on putting it into an Airbnb.
Speaking of which, I know the houses you're talking about. You know why? Because I'm really, really good friends with Noah. Actually, I hung out with Noah many, many times. He comes to Atlanta, and every single time he needs help with that house, your Airbnb, he calls me up. He's like, Abraham, can you send one of your guys? Dude, I've I fucking gave him like painters. I've helped Noah with your houses so many times. Like, you don't even know.
I've got my favorite house I own. There's something really just magical about it. It's the one on Maddox. I don't know if you're helping out on Maddox at all.
If Noah calls me and asks for help, I always help him, and I always give him the right people to send to do whatever. Yeah, electrician he needed once. I saved him a ton of money with electrician. Anyone in Atlanta, I got connections. So
love it. So guys, we only have 12 more minutes on this podcast. Here's the thing. I want to make sure you guys have the ability to reach out to Abraham. Abraham, how's the best way? I know the Subto students, everybody knows you. Everybody knows how to reach out to you. You're one of the big leaders inside of our group, but if I'm not a Subto student, how can I reach out to you if I need some sort of help?
So really the best ways to reach out to me is to either hit me up on Facebook Messenger, So just friend me on Facebook. I'll, if you friend me and you say, look, I'm in real estate, this is how I met you, I'm going to accept your request. So Abraham Gray, Gray. Instagram, Abraham Gray Official. YouTube, I'm always answering every comment on YouTube. Actually, one of your big things, Pace, over the last, year was you got to put your name out. You got to put your name out. Start a YouTube channel. Do this, do that. It's different. So I was like, people have been bugging me to do YouTube for years. I never did it. And about maybe 5 or 6 months ago, I started my YouTube channel. And it was because you kept talking about, everyone needs to do it. And literally, I started a YouTube channel and I post a couple videos every single week. It's about creative finance, with business, with real estate, and just how to better your life and how to have less stress and all these different things. But I did that because you motivated me to start that. So, but anyone that hits me up on YouTube, I'm going to respond. And it's just Abraham Gray, Gray. Put out, that. I have so my goal is this. Congratulations, by the way, you just hit over 100,000 like a couple months ago. So my goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers by the time you hit 1 million, because you're going to hit 1 million at some point next year. I know.
No. I'll hit. I think next year I'll hit. Legitimately, I will change it. I will hit 500,000 next year for sure.
I'll bet you're going to be over that. I'll bet you right now. So I'm pretty sure once you get to 100,000 pace, you grow fast. Like I know I have some really good YouTube friends that have like hundreds of thousands, over 500,000, and literally from 0 to 10,000 took a little while. 10,000 to 100 took a while, but once they got to 100,000, they grew like crazy. Like think about when you hit 100,000. I don't know how long ago, a month, 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was about 5 weeks ago. And now we're at 120,000.
And you've grown 30. I mean, now what do you have? 100 and what?
120.
120.
So we grew 20,000 subscribers in the last like 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Okay, so you're gonna see it grow, I think, faster. But I would be willing to bet you'll be over 500,000. If it's not a good bet for you because you want to hit it, so you don't want to, But no, but
I think it's a worthy goal for you to have 100,000 by the time I hit 500,000.
No, 1 million. Yeah.
Here's what the hardest thing about YouTube is?
Yeah. What is it?
Consistency.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that the most important thing that YouTube looks at is consistency. It's like if you're posting once every couple of weeks, it actually is held. It's better for you not even to post than to post every couple of weeks. You need to be consistent. You need to be doing 2-3 times a week at the exact same times. YouTube looks at it as it's like a TV show. And if somebody tunes in to watch your TV show, can they rely on you to post your series or your television show at the same exact time? And if it's sporadic, then it's held against you.
I have to. Yeah. No, I post twice a week, every Monday, every Friday. I post like a 6 to 8 minute video, and then every single day I post shorts. But I actually hired there's 3 people in my office every single day. That's all they do is create content and make videos with me, and then edit all week. So I spend like $10,000-$12,000 a month just making videos. I don't get nothing back for it yet, but it's
that was the hardest thing for me, dude. Back in 2019, I told Cody I was going to start spending $10,000 a month on hiring people out of company proceeds, and he was like, "No, you're not." And I was like, "All right, I'll just take my own paycheck and I'll build my own brand." And I created the Subto logo, started building this whole thing. I was already known as the creative finance guy in Phoenix, but I wasn't known as that nationwide, really. Like I was traveling around with Jamil like 5 years ago, talking about creative finance, but like I didn't have the logo, I didn't have the community. And we're at a point now where I think in 2023, we will easily spend $1.8 million on content.
Yeah.
In 1 year. That's just payroll. That's graphics, that's editing, that's legit $1.8 million. It's crazy. But then again, if you look at the fact that I bought $100 million in real estate last year just from content.
Yeah.
Not from content. I shouldn't say that. It's primarily from the Subto community. It is the most important thing lead gen I could ever do is go out there, help the Subto community, build the community, buy $100 million in real estate.
Yeah. So like I said, I was telling you right in the beginning, I just saw a podcast you did with Justin, and Justin's a good friend of mine. I've actually done deals with Justin too.
Did you actually watch that whole podcast?
I watched the whole podcast.
I was wilding out, dude.
I love you. Yeah.
He had to bleep me out like 100 times.
He did, but I cursed way more than you. I was trying to behave today, but basically, I love the whole cloning thing. So how much is a clone worth? You know, you have thousands of clones. They're worth.
It's invaluable. Don't tell people about the secret, dude. If people knew the secret, everybody would quit what they're doing right now and go watch that podcast.
Have you ever talked about clones before, or was that the first time? That was the first time?
I came up with it right there in that podcast.
Oh shit! So that was good. So yeah. So people, we're gonna talk. No one's gonna know what the hell we're talking about. But
yeah, we'll talk about it. I'll probably start talking about it a lot more. But it's
Oh look, Justin's here. He's on here.
I talked to Sam Singh about it at our mastermind. So last mastermind, I stayed on day number 1 of the mastermind. I stayed like 2-3 hours after the mastermind was over and whiteboarded for about 2 hours at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely do not want to share the podcast. Maj is like, which podcast? Drop link. I ain't sharing it. I was wilding out. I was like having a Kanye West moment. I was making Justin Coble feel very uncomfortable, I think.
I love what you said on there. You're like, Justin, you gotta get your camera guy in there. So like literally over the last like 2-3 months, my camera guys are on my YouTube. Like,
yeah, they need to be
a lot.
People don't want to watch you. It's like Seinfeld. It's like people want the other cast members and if the other cast members that are holding the camera, doing the edits are not involved in the whole process and it's just all about you, it gets to a point where their love for the journey is not there either. You know,
Alexis Morgan. I made a whole YouTube video, just me and her. We made an awesome YouTube video together. Alexis.
She's great.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I told you I was going to go till 8. It's Christmas night. Abraham Gray, one more time. How do people get a hold of you?
Hit me up on Facebook, Abraham Gray, friend request me, Instagram, Abraham Gray Official. And then of course, YouTube, Abraham Gray, Gray, subscribe, watch the videos. And I always answer any comments and, messages and stuff like that. Any 3 of those will work. Oh, email. My email, if you want to send me deals, is probably the best. It's Abraham, ABRAHAM and it's MMA like mixed martial arts, and then ATL like Atlanta.com.
If you guys are watching this in the future, I'll put the links in the description down below on YouTube and make sure that you guys have access to Abraham. Abraham, I'm going to have you come back multiple times. We'll talk business. We'll talk automations. We'll talk acquiring businesses. We'll talk about real estate. I'd love to have you back multiple times this coming year.
Hey, I want to come to. I've been to Phoenix twice. The last 2 weeks I've come every week, but I want to come and do one live at your place. I think that'd be cool.
Come for the mastermind for this coming January 27th. I have Big Boy from Outcast, this gentleman right here, coming to the mastermind.
What's it called? I'm super close with Bamboo. Bamboo, actually, I'm going to be partners with Bamboo in a business. So me and Bamboo, we talk all the time. But yeah, he just moved to Florida, but he comes back to Atlanta, so he's actually here right now for the next week. But I actually flew Bamboo to the Golden Ticket. We flew together. So yeah.
He'll be coming out again. I just called him a couple days ago. Said, hey, your dad's speaking at the mastermind, and I'd like to fly you out and make sure that I think I'm going to put him and his baby up in the guest house.
Yeah,
his dad will be at a hotel or whatever, but it'll be the best mastermind by far.
Yeah.
Having Big Boy come in, we're going to talk about I basically want him to talk about how Outcast was just simply a chapter in his life rather than the whole book. And most people will identify you as like, oh, you're this guy. Yet, Big Boy's done all these other things. He has a TV show coming out on A&E as well. So we're on the same network, which is cool. But would love to have you come out. We'd love to do someone in person.
Yeah, Bamboo is the nicest, most polite person you could ever meet. It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's actually how here's what's funny. A&E asked me when I got on A&E, they saw my podcast background and they said, man, you like Outcast? I was like, I love Outcast. Like one of my favorite of all time. They go, you want us to connect you with Big Boy? And I said, no, I don't want it like that. I want to have value between us. I don't want it just to be like a connection. And then his son, Bamboo, ends up joining Subto, seeing the background of the thing is like, I have to connect you with my dad. We need to do real estate deals together. So Big Boy and I, as of next week, will be partners on an apartment building. Official paperwork gets done this following week, which will be really, really cool.
Yeah, he lives like less than 1 mile from me, Big Boy. Like we live like in the same neighborhood.
What city are you in?
Sandy Springs, Buckhead. He lives in Sandy Springs. I'm like right on the border of Sandy Springs and Buckhead.
Love it.
Yeah.
Abraham Gray, thank you, brother. We'll have you multiple times, guys. I want to tell you guys a couple of things as I wrap up. Abraham, I'll keep you on the screen all the way until we wrap up. A couple of things for those of you guys that tuned in a little bit late. We are rebranding this show. This will be the last Sunday service that we ever do. Sunday service has been going on for 3 years, but we are going to be calling this show Get Creative. And we're going to open up every show every single week the same way. We're going to highlight 2 people every single week, sometimes 3, depending on what's going on. Those people, we will be talking about their creative deals. Okay. And in 2022, this year, I gave away 100% of my YouTube income to people on my team. Okay. Like last month, or not people on my team. Sorry. For the first year or first half of the year, was people on my team. And then this last half of the year, I was giving away to subscribers, people that were in trouble. We had a lady that was in a battered shelter situation, had to run away from her husband. And we gave $17,000 away in November. And then this month we gave away $18,600, which was our whole YouTube income this month to a subscriber. I'm going to change that up. What we're going to do is I'm going to highlight Subto students and their creative deals every single week, opening up the podcast. And what we're going to do every single month is we are going to rate and give away awards on a monthly basis to the most creative deals done during that month. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to give away, I believe we're going to give away $8,000 a month to Subto students who have the best deals. So the number one place, we will take votes on this, by the way. Number one place will get $5,000. Second place will get $2,000, and third place will get $1,000. I think is the numbers. We might change it. I'm not quite sure. No, I'm sorry. We're giving away 10 grand, 5,000 to first place, 3,000 to second place, 2,000 to third place. So every single month we'll have 8 to sometimes 10 guests on a monthly basis. Those guests will come in and talk about deals. So Abraham, what I would be doing is I would definitely be submitting, like you have some students of ours in Subto that you've done deals with, tell them to submit. Okay. So if you're a Subto student and you have a deal to submit, email melissa@subto.com. I want to highlight you guys every single week. We're going to open up the podcast that exact way, saying, hey, I did a deal with Abraham Gray and he did this, this, and this. I made $20,000. I'll say, wait, here, tell me the structure. How creative was it? And I think this coming month, there's 2 students I know that did really creative deals. One of them was buying $12,000 of camera equipment with $0 down, 0% interest. Okay, like the nicest Canon gear possible. Another student, Lucas, bought his first house on Creative Finance in RV with 0 down, moved his wife and him, got himself out of a mindset pickle he'd been in for the last 3 or 4 years, and got his wife into the first time they lived in a house in 10 years. They were basically homeless, living in a shed in Arkansas, and he learned Creative Finance, bought an RV with Creative Finance. So it doesn't even have to be a house. It could be an RV, it could be a golf cart, it could be a business, it could be camera equipment, whatever it is. We're going to take a vote as a group on a monthly basis and say, here's this month's winner. And I'm going to use the YouTube income and give it back to you guys and reward you guys. And we're going to have fun with it and send out little trophies and all sorts of fun stuff. So if you guys have a deal, please email melissa@subto.com. I see them all the time in the Facebook group, but I want to make sure you're okay with me bringing you on camera. And Melissa will get you guys coordinated for that on a weekly basis. So we will be doing that starting next week. Get Creative is the name of the podcast, Sunday service. This is the last episode. Appreciate you guys. Loved it while I was here. It's time for the podcast. It's going to still be here. We're going to hang out, right? It's going to be an hour and a half every single week. Same time, just different name, different branding, and a little bit different format. We are also going to start venturing into a little bit more business development. So you guys actually can go in and say, how do I hire somebody? Well, I learned how to do that on Get Creative. How do you onboard somebody? How do you make sure that you have good SOPs? How do you make sure you have the right this and the right that? And how do I fire somebody properly? We're going to start talking about a little bit more general business stuff that will help you out in your journey. The things that I noticed the most, like again, last week and the week before, common thread popping up all the time. People can't get out of their own way. In fact, I asked, and I'll ask the same question I asked the other night, how many of you right now in the audience, how many of you guys have one person besides yourself that can do things in your business better than you? How many people here besides you can do something better in your business than you can? Literally 99% of people will say, not me. Like even Alexis Morgan, she's newer to business, but she's still a solopreneur. How do we break you away from being a solopreneur? Right? How do we break you away from being the person that if you are not working, this is the sad thing, is like when people come to my golden ticket event, I'll say, how many of you guys are making money right now, even though you're in the room? And like Abraham Gray is the only one that can raise his hand. Right? Most people are like, crap, I'm here, which means I'm not making money because somebody's not on the phones or dialing or whatever else. Okay. So we will teach you guys all sorts of cool things, and Get Creative is going to change the format just a little bit. Same time, same place, a couple more guests every single month, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So Abraham Gray, thanks for joining me tonight on the last Sunday service.
Thanks for having me. Can I say one thing? Because there's one thing that people ask me all the time. I just wanted to.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So people always ask me, they're like, Abraham, you've been buying real estate for, since you were in your early 20s, over 25 years. Like, what'd you get from joining Subto? And I tell people, oh my God, like, first of all, I've learned like so much, like way more than, so I've actually bought tons of mentorships, like over the last 20 some years. And I always learn some stuff, but the community is always worth joining. But literally, like, I've learned more from you in Subto than I've learned from every other mentorship, and way more than I knew in real estate 10 times over before. So the point is when people ask me, should I join Subto? I tell them, look, if you know nothing, obviously you have to join Subto because you're going to learn what you need. But no matter how much you know, like, I don't know how many people know as much or more than I knew when I joined, but I literally went from knowing this much to knowing, just crazy amount more. And I didn't even think it was possible. And so I tell people, it doesn't matter if you know very little or you know a lot, it's worth joining. And even if you think you know everything and you can't learn anything, just the people in the community, we just talked about how much money we made off everybody. Like I joined a lot of because I don't wholesale. I joined, Astro Flipping back in 2020 also. I didn't care about wholesaling. I never wholesaled. But I joined because all the people in Astro Flipping that it deals with is worth the money. So the point is like I always tell everybody you have to join, and it doesn't matter how much or how little you know, you're going to get something, and you're probably going to get a lot more than you think.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I'm never one to try and tout or be a salesman for something. I just want to build something that's special. And the reality is, for me and the community that we've all built, I tell people, and you guys all know this, you've heard me say this 1,000 times since you've been in the community, is that this is not mine. This is ours. And like, look how much you benefit from this years later, right? It's not like you joined something, you took some lame classes, watched a bunch of videos. Dude, it's like, yeah, there's this week we did 23 live Zooms. You being in the program for over 2 years can still go in there and watch those Zooms or go, oh, cool, that's a topic I've never seen Pace do before. I'm going to go in there and see. Or Pace has a CPA coming in today. I want to go ask a question of Pace's CPA. That's 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road. You're going to see a Zoom pop up on a weekly basis that you go, man, Pace is learning something new. He's going to bring that to Subto. Right. So it's an ongoing, it's like a passion project for me that, dude, I learn stuff in this community every single day. And that's the crazy thing. It's like, I'm not trying to be the hero. I'm trying to be the guide, and I'm trying to be a leader. But the fact is we have 1,000 leaders. We have thousands of go-givers, and we have people that continually bring new things to the table every single day that I go, ooh, that's new. I love that. And watching the way you operate is fun for me too. It's like I get inspired by the other leaders inside of our community. There's hundreds of them right now inside of the side chat that I could go on, but I don't want to say everybody's names because I could go in and say one person's name, 15 people's names, but I would end up leaving people out and they'd be bummed. I love all of you guys. Merry freaking Christmas. Happy holidays. Abraham Gray, you're the man, bro.
No, you are. But thanks for having me, and I can't wait to see you at your mastermind and in the future.
I will see you at our mastermind, Abraham. It'll be a lot of fun. I might even have you speak about some of the businesses you own, and we'll have a lot of fun talking about that kind of stuff.
I don't know if I could top Kevin. I've seen Kevin talk at some years. I don't know. He's pretty good.
I haven't let Kevin talk at the mastermind. I've only let him talk at the Golden Ticket event. Maybe in 3 years, he'll be ready to speak at the mastermind.
All right.
You're the man, Abraham. Thank you guys so much. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into Sunday Service for the last 3+ years. I've been talking about rebranding Sunday Service for almost a year. We're not going to change anything other than improve everything. And we're going to make the weekly topics even a little bit better, a little bit more streamlined. They won't just be creative finance. They'll be creative finance on business, creative finance on all sorts of different things. We'll also talk about how to be better business owners and get over some mindset issues that a lot of you guys have. That's something that Sunday Service has never really done. And we are going to be bringing in additional guests. I had Cody Sanchez come on Wholesale Hotline a couple of weeks ago, and I will end up having her come back on Sunday Service and have a lot more people come on Sunday Service. But I want to make sure that this is a podcast that is beneficial to all types of people trying to understand creative finance, not just from a real estate standpoint, but also from business and acquiring and doing other types of things as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited about it, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys next week. So Merry Christmas. Love all of you Subto students. I will hang out with you guys multiple times this week, and thank you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been an amazing year. I will see you guys tomorrow on Wholesale Hotline. There's nothing changing on Wholesale Hotline, but I will be on Wholesale Hotline tomorrow, I believe, actually by myself. Jamila's sick and Brent is out of town, so I'll be running Wholesale Hotline all by myself. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you so much.